Hey, what's up guys and welcome back to Anime King 3, and today I'm going to be giving you part 21 of What If Naruto Had the 6-Eye Sharingan. Remember to get this one to 100 likes as usual, share this to all of your friends in your social media platform, and also guys, don't forget to go ahead and check out the brand new episode of What If Naruto was half archangel and became the god of gods, and enjoy that guys. And don't forget to go ahead and check out the other what ifs of the other channels. Yes, I indeed have 4 channels which I post what if on every single day for you guys to enjoy, so go ahead and destroy that red subscribe button and become a part of the Anime King family. And thank you for all for your help and your support. So without further ado or wasting any more time, what do you say we jump right into this? Begin now guys. So, the last part we left off, Madara Uchiha had been brought back into reality. Yes, he was back, revived by Zetsu. Obito felt something off as he came back to the base. He was trying to locate the other Uchihas. That is when the man, the myth, the ghost himself showed up. Obito was caught off guard completely, not expecting this in the slightest. Yes, he was taken aback by this sight of this man being here, as Madara knew that he did not expect to see him for some time, if at all, as he told Obito how truly disappointed he was for him failing so badly. It has been a long time and yet he has not even gathered any of the tail pieces. However, there is nothing to fear because he was back and he was ready. And he was not joking because he was ready to move out as soon as possible. It did not take too long for the both of them to attack Kumo, finding the location where the 8-tailed Jinchuriki was. However, he was not alone. The 2-tailed Jinchuriki host was there as well, as Madara told Obito to go and get her, as he decided to have some fun with the 8 tails. It's been a long time since he felt his blood pumping as he jumped into the midst of battle. It was chaotic as the 8 tails told B not to mess around with this man. He was truly dangerous as B tried to bring him down, but Madara was simply toying with him. The battle brought the great Uchiha great joy as he clashed with B. He was having so much fun, yes he was, as the both of them clashed all over the area. It was at that moment Fu was doing her observation. Fu had taken the deal, and she was now a part of Naruto's group. After he had extracted the 7 tails from her, she was alive and now serving a higher purpose as she saw it. Better than what she was doing at Taki, as she flew over Kumo. They did not know the complete layout of the village, however, they came across something rather surprising. As the place was well open and there was a valley, beyond Rikyu Valley where B resides. She was shocked though when she saw the battle that was taking place, as Madara saw her, but she flew off as quickly as possible. The Uchiha kept on enjoying himself even after Obito was finished. With the 2 tails, Madara was still having fun as he clashed with the 8 tails. Some time passed as Madara got bored. This was supposed to be the second strongest, but yet it brought him no joy, as their battle quickly came to an end. However, Naruto showed up. Fu had summoned him here, as she had sent word to him rather quickly about what was taking place as Naruto touched down. At that moment, Obito absorbed the 2-tailed beasts into his Kamui dimension. However, the reason why Naruto and Sasuke and the others were gone was because Sasuke was using the Rinnegan for a better purpose. As Obito realized what he was saying, Madara realized it instantly. The Gedo statue was no longer in their possession, as Naruto had it. Madara tried to convince Naruto to join his side, However, Naruto said that he wanted nothing to do with him. But Madara was quite curious about him though. He heard about the six eyes. He's never seen them up close before, and he would like to see how he stacks up against him. However, the way Naruto talked, Obito was actually getting worried. He did not seem to fear either of them, and this was the real Madara Uchiha. But Naruto did not seem to care who he was in the slightest, and that was a bit concerning to Obito. As they made a bet, 3 days to be exact, they would meet again and the winner would get the remaining tail pieces. As Madara was looking forward to it, finally he can have a battle where his blood would be pumping. It was at that moment the Raikage arrived. He tried to attack Naruto, but Naruto simply blasted him away, using raw chakra only, as he did not have time for that, as he stepped inside his wormhole and vanished. However, the Raikage did see Madara Uchiha though, who quickly went away with Obito, not wanting to waste time here, as he was preparing for that match. That would be glorious. We then had a time skip as Naruto came back and spoke to Sasuke about what happened, as they had a plan on how to deal with the masked man. Itachi's death was something that was fruitful to the both of them. Itachi knew that going up against the remaining members would end with his death. However, the information that he got, he told the boys all about the Kamui and the time limit after fighting Obito. That is where his bird had came and gave them that information. When it locked eyes with them, it passed information on to them. It was his dying wish for them to have that, so they could win whatever they were going to face. The least he could do for after everything he took away from them. As Naruto ordered a plan, Sasuke would be the one to kill Obito. So with that, they commenced in sealing the remaining tail pieces inside of the Gedo statue. Meanwhile, that was going on, Madara decided to take a detour, as he would simply go after the 9 tails now. So when the time came, he will have all of the tail pieces. As Obito thought about the connection that the two Uchiha had with the 9 tail hosts, but he said nothing about it though as Madara went to Konoha. Konoha did not stand a chance. Once again, the village was attacked as Tsunade woke up. The village was not as badly destroyed because Mito had been captured. Mito was the one that they were here for. She tried using her sage mode, but she stood no chance against that man, as Tsunade could not believe it. It was Madara Uchiha. The Raikage even sent word. He wanted to have a 5 Kage summit about all of this. Konan had gave information to Tsunade about everything, but it seems that Madara was truly real. But if he had this power all along, why would he wait? It seems that this Madara had been just brought back from somewhere. This was more problematic than ever, and Mito was taken, and they had no idea where she was. When Mito came to, she was in her mindscape as the fox looked at her, remembering what Naruto had said to him. As he then had a flash of what this girl had said to him, that she would someday find that darkness inside him and help him. There were more than one reason why he should help her, and Madara was a big problem that he wanted to suffer as well. As he hated Madara more than any other human and this girl, he decided to put his faith in a human for once, as he wanted to release a seal. Her mind was currently forcefully shut down by Madara Rinnegan. However, the influx of power should be enough to awake her in the outside world, for her to really shake things up where she was, as she was locked in a different dimension. Meanwhile that was going on, news had reached Naruto about Konoha being attacked. Him and Sasuke waste no time as Mito was captured as they went to the village. Madara pushed his hand and now, the Uchihas were coming for him. So yeah guys, basically that's what I thought. If you guys can switch across the play, check it out for yourself. And also don't forget to go ahead and check out the other what ifs coming your way over the other channels. I hope you guys enjoy each and every one of them. So without further ado, what do you say we jump right into this? Begin now guys. We begin this episode at Konoha. Tsunade Senju was frustrated. She was getting nowhere fast, and she was angry. Twice now this village has been attacked, and the second attack ended with one of her favorite person being kidnapped, and she was pissed. She had no clue where Madara was, and how the hell they were gonna fight something like that. The Kage summit was coming up soon, They will have to join forces, all of them, in order to bring down that monster. That man had fought her grandfather, and she knew her grandfather was a beast of a man in terms of everything. He was able to capture all the 9 beasts by himself. His Mokidan was the strongest. No one could ever compare to the power her grandfather wielded. And his greatest enemy was back. The nations were in danger. He captured Mito, so he now had her, with the 9-tail sealed inside of her. They still had no idea what he wanted with the other beasts. All of a sudden, there was a ripple inside of her office. Snevy quickly got on guard. As she saw the space in front of her tear open, 4 envoys instantly arrived, weapons drawn as they were ready to strike. However, the moment a feet touched down, the entire office froze. Except for Snevy, everything else froze. Ice completely submerged the entire office. Snevy was stunned and shocked by the level of control and power that could be done so quickly. Her envoys were frozen solid. Don't worry, they're not dead, just immobilized. This will not take too long. As 2 people emerge. "You two," said Snevy as she looked towards the 2 Uchihas. "What are you doing here?" she asked. Despite the effort that Naruto had put in to save the village and help it, they were still enemies in Konoha. Even if she did not see it as such, and now coming in here and freezing her envoys was something that, well, she could not handle at this moment. The village has been attacked twice now. Sasuke was the next one to speak. "What happened?" he said, as Neve noticed his eyes. She was shocked. Those eyes. The Rinnegan. "So, you took the leader of the Akatsuki eyes?" "No," said Naruto. "Those are his own," said Naruto. "The one who took them was Madara." "So you know about that?" "I'm not surprised. Are you here to find out about him?" "Exactly," said Naruto. "Look, you two," she said. "Right now, you are not Konoha shinobis. And I have no idea what you're doing, however. At this moment, you are the lesser evil. Madara Uchiha is back, and I'm sure that the both of you are aware of that. And he took Mito. And none of us could have stopped him. I still have no idea what the Akatsuki want with the tail beasts. However, they don't have any of them. Except for recent. We got information that the Akatsuki had none of the tail beasts, which led me to believe that you two were behind the kidnapping of each of the tail beasts." As they simply looked at her. "We do not have time to waste." "When did this happen?" Sasuke said. "There was a possibility that Madara will try to remove the 9 tails from Mito and use it just like how we used it against the first Hokage." Snevy smashed her fist in the decks. "You think I don't know that? Extracting a tail beast from a Jinchuriki means that they die. And I too don't want her to die." "That is why. I'm gonna need you to answer when did it happen," said Naruto. "A few hours ago," she said. "I'm gonna need your help." "With what?" "To find her." "You fought Madara, if I'm not mistaken." "Yes, but not for too long. He had this humanoid monster that formed out of his chakra." As Naruto stepped forward, Snevy got up. "What are you doing?" she said. "This will not hurt. I am not here to harm you. If I was, I would have done so already. I only wish to use you to find him." "And how exactly are you going to do that? As you said, you fought him. Just let me do the rest," said Naruto, as he reached his hand up towards her diamond. Right now, Snevy was out of options, and she was afraid of the possibility of Mito's death, so she allowed him to do what he wanted to do. He tapped her on the forehead. What Naruto did was made a contact of all of Snevy residue chakra that was released once she fought the Uchiha. He reached up as he pushed down his glasses, as Naruto was able to see all over the village and pinpoint all of the areas that she fought with the man. And Naruto was able to see the residue chakra of the Uchiha himself. He started to squint, as Neve had no idea what he was doing. However, it seemed to be putting mental and physical pressure on him. As his eyes started to squint, Snevy could feel power brewing inside of his body, circulating, spinning, reaching, trying to grab onto something. As Naruto saw the pattern, he then released her as he staggered back 1 feet. Sasuke placed a hand on his shoulder. "I'm fine," said Naruto. What he did was not easy because Madara had used the Kamui, so he had to stretch his own chakra and his power to link the residue of chakra, following a tiny trail that would have been impossible for anyone else, but because of his eyes, it was indeed doable. He was back on his feet a second later. He turned as the space in front of him ripped open. "Let's go." "Wait," said Snevy. "What are you gonna do?" "I'm going to kill Madara." Snevy blinked in shock. "Even with the both of you, do you really think that you possess enough power to take a monster like that down?" she asked. Naruto turned towards her. "Don't worry, I'll win," he said, as he stepped through the wormhole. The moment he did, the ice vanished away as her envoys dropped to one knee. They looked around confused. A distance away, Naruto and Sasuke stepped out of the portal. "What do you mean you will fight him?" Sasuke said. "You will fight the other one," said Naruto. "There is no time to argue about this, Sasuke. He's just a threat like Madara. Besides, he has the other tail pieces locked away. I was trying to pick up on Mito's chakra, but I could not. It's in a completely different dimension, and that is one I can't access without certain things from him, and you already know that. You think the reason me being against this is because I'm afraid to fight him or something? Well, you're dead wrong," Sasuke said. "With all the information I have on him, he will not win, and that's a promise. My worry is with you. This is no ordinary ninja you're fighting, or any other normal Kage power level ninja. This is Madara Uchiha. You heard the legends, you heard the tales. I know that you're powerful, extremely so, but can you really defeat someone like that on your own? Especially while you're not complete," Sasuke said. As Naruto looked at him and placed a hand on both of his shoulders. "I understand that you're worried, but just like I tell the Hokage back there is no if or but. I'll win," said Naruto. Sasuke simply sighed. He's always had trust in Naruto. There's no reason for him to stop have trust in him right now. "Alright, fine. Let's do this." Meanwhile, 3 bodies lie unconscious inside of Obito's dimension, forced to stay unconscious because of Madara Rinnegan. The 3 of them were locked away inside their own mind. Not even their beasts could help them. Well, except for one. Suddenly, the ground that they were on shook. It was a cube to be exact. The cube shook. The entire place trembled. The dimension itself for a few seconds until there was a flash of golden light as Mito was submerged in a golden cloak. Her body having megatama markings and black markings all over. As she looked at her hands and feet, "Whoa," she said. Even her hair was golden as well, different from her normal yellow hair. However, there was another thing. Upon releasing the seal, she was able to meet her mother and father, their chakra being a safe haven to help her in case the fox rebel. But now, she saw them. Her father, Minato no Mikaze. At first she was angry and upset, but just like him, sacrifice. She wanted to be Hokage, so she had to understand the meaning of that word, sacrifice. She understood his sacrifice to save the village as a whole, because despite everything that happened, she never got put down. And she was now here, her body emblazoned with a cloak. This was just the first stage of her connection with Kurama's chakra. The surge of power allowed her to awaken in here, wherever here was. She was right. She could feel no connection to the outside world. She could not draw nature engine inside of here, wherever this place was. She moved forward as she placed a hand on the girl's head. Suddenly, there was a surge and Yujito's eyes snapped open. Immediately, she jumped to her feet, claws extended. Easy, easy, said Mito. I'm not your enemy. I'm a Jinjulki as well, and I was captured. The girl looked around all frantic. Her clothing was torn in several places, but it still covered her modesty. As she started to calm down, Where am I? Said Yujito. I'm not sure. We were captured and we were brought here, she said, walking over towards the other one. What are you doing? I'm just waking him up like I did for you. As she walked over and placed a hand on the man's head, his eyes slowly opened. As he looked at her, you're like the sunlight, extremely bright. As the man started to rap, she raised her eyebrow at his odd way of speaking. B, this is no time for your stupid rapping. We're stuck in this place wherever we are. As B looked over towards the girl, and who are you? Mito once again introduced herself. Look, she said, as she looked towards the both of them. Were the two of you captured by Madara Uchiha as well? As Yujito nodded, I still can't believe that man is alive. Do you have any idea how he's alive? No, but what I do know is everything I threw at him failed. His strength is great, but now things have changed. With this power and the three of us combined effort, I think we should be enough to fight him off. What about the other one? The other one? Yes, he has a lackey of some sorts. I was the one to fight him and B took on Madara. I could not touch him. You couldn't touch him? Oh, the fake Madara. Snazzy told me about him. We have information on him as well. He has some sort of... What was it again? As she tried to remember what Snazzy said. Oh yeah, she said. Phase in ability. He can phase through almost anything. Then how are we gonna be someone like that, Yujito asks? I have no idea. But no one can be that invincible. He must have a weakness. We have until they open back this door or whatever they use to send us here, to think of a good way to fight and defeat these guys. Otherwise, we're screwed, said Mito, as the seriousness of the situation dawned on every single one of them. Even B was not in the rapping mood right now. The next time he's taken down, he probably won't be waking up. And his bro had no idea where he is, so there was no reinforcements coming their way. They had to fight. As he heard Octopop speaking to him mentally. This time he will not go down that easily. Alright, Nino, he said, looking towards the girl. Let's come up with a better plan, so we can whoop their can, he said. Yujito sighed. Yeah, said Mito, as his way of talking was still really weird. Even though she was still freaked out. This new power that the fox, upon merging with her, had given her was something more than she expected. She felt stronger than ever. However, Madara Uchiha was a legend, so she could not be cocky in any terms of the word. She had to give it her all. The last time she did that with her Sage Mode, she failed miserably. But this time though, she clenched her fists. She will win, she thought to herself. Confidence oozing off her. She will give it her all and take down that man with everything she got. Time skip. The legendary Uchiha sat, as he could not wait to face the 6-eye user. He felt the strength of the Raikage. The man had came at him full force, and he had to say he was disappointed if this was what this, well, generation has to offer. That was nothing compared to his true power. He would flatten that man and his entire village by himself. However, he heard great things about the 6th Eye, and he could not wait to see if all of that was true. If not, he would be severely disappointed. Yes, greatly so. The tailed beasts were on their way. The six-eye user will lose to him in the long run, and he will gain what he always seek. Obito had no intentions of reviving him. He could see that from the surprise on the man's face. Upon seeing him, Obito wanted to do his own thing and achieve what he wanted to do by himself. However, all of his dreams were shattered because he now was back, and with his eyes. Yes, his eyes that he awakened. Obito was not here at the moment, but he should be returning very soon. He would be a part of the battle as well. He will fight the other Uchiha. He didn't want him to interrupt. Meanwhile, with Obito had another friend on the sidelines. Someone that he met recently. Someone that could help him. Obito did not like the fact that Madara was back and trying to take over everything. He truly hated that with every fiber of his being. He did not want the man to come back, if this soon, if at all, and he ruined everything. That is why, at the moment, he stood in front of none other than Kabuto Yakushi. Kabuto was his ace in the hole. Yes, Kabuto was the one behind the scenes that was plotting for a long time now, and gathering, and preparing. Kabuto had failed miserably, and he was unable to do a damn thing when Naruto and Sasuke eviscerated Orochimaru. He was not strong enough. He was not powerful enough to stand against them. So he fled. He fled like the coward he was. But no more. No longer would he be a coward. It was his time to stand. It was his time to rule. Kabuto intended to betray this masked man in the end, but for now they had a similar goal. First thing first, they will see what happened between the Uchihas and Madara. Whoever failed would be at the receiving end of an ambush. Kabuto did not have a large army, but he did have some of the most powerful warriors ready to revive and use as his Edo Tensei. They should be enough to even wear down the unmovable ghost, Madara Uchiha himself, and defeat him in the long run. After all, he came back as blood and flesh, and he will die. As Obito went about his business, he had no qualms in taking down Sasuke. The Uchiha might have grown, but he would not stand a chance against his Kamui. Just like how he killed Itachi, he would kill Sasuke as well. The victor between Naruto and Madara had yet to be seen though, but he was still not sure how they got their hands on the Gedo statue. Only a Rinnegan user could control it. Maybe the Six Eyes. Grant that user the similar ability to Rinnegan. Maybe, he thought to himself. Time skip. You took longer than expected. Madara said as he glanced towards Obito, who just arrived. I had some final business to take care of. Madara watched him keenly, his Rinnegan eyes observing everything about the younger Uchiha, but he said nothing. A look of surprise crossed his face. They're early, he said, not expecting them to come today. He was at his old hideout. Yes, the place was devoid of almost all life except for them, and it would be a battleground, but this was not the place that he wished to wage war with the Six-Eye user. He was a man of sentimentality. Despite not showing it much, he wanted to fight him at the Valley of the End, as he had a nagging feeling that the Six-Eye user would push him to use all the power at his disposal, and the battle would be glorious. However, that was not the case because they arrived early. They made no qualms of hiding or ambush attack, and Madara like that. They were not afraid, not in the slightest. As the two Uchiha arrived on the scenes, Obito was shocked under his mask. But how, he said. Well, this is an interesting development. Madara said as he saw the other one's eyes. I presume that you're Sasuke Uchiha. I must say. I never expected you to show up with a Sharingan. It seems you'll have your hands full, Madara said in a tone like he was mocking Obito. As it pissed the younger Uchiha off, but he said nothing at that. As he looked towards Sasuke. What gives? This is not what I picked for our backup place. I told you to find me in 3 days. Why are you here, Madara asks. He's here for the nine-tailed hosts. If I'm not mistaken, Obito spoke up. She was once your ally, your comrade, your friend. What? Why wasn't I informed of this? Madara said. Because it's not important, Obito said. It seems like he's angry. Ah, I see. You come to take her back from me because I stole her. However, it's nothing personal, Madara said. She just has what I seek. And she will have to die for me to take it. Naruto reached up as he took off his glasses. As he tossed them up. And focused his eyes on them before they were sucked away in his dimension. As Madara was able to witness those eyes. So these are the eyes I heard so much about. However, it seems they're incomplete. I'm disappointed. I expected to fight you at your best. But this is not your best, is it? You don't have to worry, said Naruto. This will be enough to send you back to the grave. Madara smirked. Confidence indeed. Obito, stop the other one. Do not let him get involved in this battle, said Madara as he shifted his feet. So then, Naruto Uchiha, shall we dance? I'll give you the first move, old man, said Naruto. Yes, let I move first, youngster. Madara moved and Naruto moved second. As the both of them blurred away. Well, I guess that leaves me with you. Sasuke vanished as Obito had to step back. Sasuke blade tearing through the ground where he once stood. Obito stepped back for mere comical relief. After all, he could have let it go right through him. Sasuke wasted no time as he brought his hand up quickly, performing two handstands and blew out a giant ball of flames. Seeing it coming towards him, Obito simply run forward as he went right through the attack. Meanwhile, hey, what's that? As there were three bodies on the ground, the three of them were Mito clones, transformed into the three of them, just in case one of the Uchihas come in here, so they could ambush them. The other three were on a different platform watching, the three clones fading in sleep. One of them was an explosive clone, to catch him off guard. I'm not sure, said Yujito. A ghost, flicking in and out, said B. I'm sure it's not a ghost, B-san, said Mito. But it seems like a person though. But why is it flicking like that? What they were seeing was Obito transferring his body here, to save himself. Wait, it's him. That mask. He is the one I fought. What's going on? Hey kid. Mito was in her mindscape as she looked up towards Kurama, who was now free. Yeah, she said. As he told her his name, the both of them had grown closer together, something she liked. I think I have an idea what is going on here. What do you mean? You remember the Hokage of yours telling you about the ability that this man possesses? Everything that they got from that woman that you brought back to the village. That woman of the Akatsuki. Yeah? His body is intangible, right? When you hit him, objects go through him. Yeah? Think about it. Why would he have a separate dimension? And he's flicking in and out. I think he's fighting someone outside. Fighting someone? I don't understand. Kurama looked at her. There must be a place that his body goes. Why you cannot hit him? He simply can't make his body disappear, like there's nothing there. As Mito thought about it. Wait. Are you trying to say that he's sending his body parts here? It would be the only explanation why his body is flickering in and out of here. Someone outside is fighting him. And pieces of him are ending up here because he's sending those pieces here so he won't get hurt outside. That's amazing. How did you think of that? I would have never guessed that on my own, she said. As Kramer simply huffed, however, there was a small smirk on his face. It's just a theory, but it might be right. I think it is right. That is why all of the attacks were said to go right through him. It all makes sense now. That is why this place exists. Everything, it links to him. So, if his body is here when he's being attacked outside, that means I can hit him. Well, we'll have to give it a try, said Kramer. As Mito smirked at that, on the outside, are you finally realizing that you cannot win? Obito said under his mask, as Sasuke had stopped fighting a moment ago. Sasuke was not talking, he was not even looking at Obito, his Rinnegan eyes staring off into the distance. Obito now felt like he was being ignored. As he intended on ending this as he moved forward, the Uchiha had no idea about his abilities or what he can do. It doesn't matter if he had the Rinnegan, he will still lose. As Obito moved forward, intending to bring him inside of his dimension there, in the confusion, he will defeat him. However, the closer Obito got, the more he felt like something was off. As Sasuke suddenly raised his hand, Obito turned as he saw a giant stone coming towards him. How foolish, he thought, as he allowed it to phase right through him. At that moment once it was about to exit him, Sasuke already had something planned for him. Slowly but surely a creature was slowly moving towards Obito, getting closer and closer. The creature could not be seen by normal means. The Sharingan could see the creature, but Obito was distracted. Sasuke had made sure that the Uchiha did not see when he summoned the creature, and it was getting closer and closer. The moment the stone came out of Obito about to hit Sasuke, Obito dropped his guard, believing that there was no way the Uchiha could reach him in time. However, before Sasuke creature could strike though, Obito winced in pain as blood started to gather on his stomach area. It started to pool on his clothing, and at that moment, the creature came back into reality. It was a chameleon. Its tail shot out at blinding speed. There was a pointed tip on the end, intending to pierce right through the Uchiha's chest. Obito turned just in time, as he was caught off guard by a sudden slash in his stomach that ripped his stomach open. The right side of his shoulder was torn as a violent spray of blood exploded outwards. The Uchiha was shocked and in mortal pain, not expecting any of this. Sasuke raised an eyebrow in surprise, as he was not expecting that slash on the stomach that gave him the advantage. Sasuke vanished at blinding speed as he appeared in front of Obito and discharged a violent Chidori storm. The entire area was destroyed. The blast destroying everything, shredding every stone, every pillar that was nearby. The creature had long since moved. Obito had no choice. He did not want to get hit, so he had no choice but to let it phase right through him. And this time his masked face enter into the world, only to see something being thrown towards him. Killer Bee hand had transformed into the 8 tails and threw Mito at blinding speed. Rasengan in hand, she slammed it in his face. Obito was not expecting any of this as his mask completely shattered, only for another flash to move by him. That was a flash of blue flames. The Uchiha cried out in pain as his entire left arm was enveloped in flames. All of this completely taking him by shock. He had no choice but to go back in the outside world. When he realized, shit, he used his chakra to warp himself away from Sasuke. Sasuke had instantly transformed into a cannon as he released a jet of beam that tore through the entire place. Obito had no choice but to run his face now maskless. Back inside his domain, we got him. But it was still not enough, said Yujito. However, someone is fighting him on the outside. We have to be prepared if he shows his face in here again. We can stop this. And maybe get the hell out of here, she said. As Mito looked towards B, ready Octopop, she said. As B gave her a thumbs up. As they started to prepare themselves for the next time he would show up. Meanwhile, on the outside, Obito was trying to run away. However, he heard crackling behind him as he turned. A dragon made from lightning swooped towards him at blinding speed. Having no choice, he flashed through Hansen and released a swirling flame of fire that clashed with it. As the entire place was bathed in a bright light, he fled, moving as fast as he could. He only had one arm, the arm that was crushed by the boulder that was put back together by the white Zetsu had melted because of the blue flame. His mask was destroyed. His stomach was still bleeding. The Hoshirama cells inside his body was slowly putting it back together, but he was still injured, and Sasuke was not giving him a break. He hid behind a pillar only for it to explode. Shit, he cursed. As he could not enter back in his dimension, he was yanked forward at blinding speed. Meanwhile, over the other side of the horizon, both Uchihas were duking it out. Madara was having the time of his life, his long black hair swaying as he clashed against a white-haired individual. Fist meeting fists, blows connecting against blows. Both Uchihas were moving like monsters as they flew, destroying places. It was a good thing that no one was here, otherwise it would be a lot of casualties. Madara knocked Naruto away as Naruto was sent sailing. The Uchiha did not waste any time as he landed as he fly through hand sign. Fire style. Majestic destroyer flame. A gigantic inferno raced towards Naruto, who flipped and landed. Naruto slammed both hands together before he plunged them into the earth. He then exhaled a cold breath before massive ice spikes erupted from the earth. An entire volley of ice seemed to just spawn. It spawned all over the place and rushed forward. It was like a massive avalanche shooting forward towards the flames as both of them clashed. Madara was shocked as he watches the two techniques cancel out each other. He did not expect ice to outplay his fire. His fire should have burned right through it, but this ice was not normal in the slightest. Even after his fire died down, there were still ice particles. To show the level of control and power that was placed in that technique that was used so simple. Madara grinned, simply extended that the battle was just beginning as he rushed straight through the smoke. Upon arriving, several massive fireballs were behind him, coming towards Naruto. Naruto leaped up in the air and held his hand out as a staff appeared as he grabbed it and twirled it. A gigantic gust of wind slammed into the fireballs. It caused them to explode into a massive inferno, with Madara right in the center. He did not expect that. He had no choice but to repel the technique, and the moment he did, a feet slammed into his face as he had his arms outstretched. Madara was sent sailing as Naruto rushed and reached him before he could hit the ground, and slammed two vicious punches in his chest. The Uchiha armor creaked under the strain, but Naruto did not let him go though, as he outpaced Madara and appeared behind him and kicked him right in the back. Once again his armor started to creak behind the forces of Naruto blows. Naruto twirled his staff in his hand as he drove it into the earth. It split open. With a pulse of his chakra, flames erupted from the earth, swallowing the Uchiha. However, Madara roared like a dragon as the flames exploded outwards, showing him unharmed as he flipped in the air and landed, his feet touching the soil. Before he blurred forward, so did Naruto as their fists slammed in each other's face. The force caused the both of them to stagger back just a slight bit before Naruto turned and whirled his fist forward, but Madara ducked underneath it and lashed out a brutal kick to his knee. However, Naruto jumped and spun in mid-air, spinning himself away. Madara jumped and started to stomp down, but Naruto rolled out of the way each time. He used his staff to push himself up, as Madara stomped right into it, with a tremendous amount of force, destroying Naruto's staff. He stomped on the hook as he kicked it upwards. The staff was fired towards Naruto's stomach. However, surprisingly, Naruto's hand extended and wrapped around the Uchiha torso and yanked him forward. Madara was taken aback as his face was now in the projectile area. The staff pointed tip was about to burst right into his skull. The Uchiha was locked as Naruto's arms surrounded him. His Rinnegan pulsed with a godly amount of power as the staff and Naruto and everything around him was sent sailing as Naruto crashed into the side of a broken mountain that they already visit. As Madara was now back on his feet, a small smirk on his face. He was loving the battle so far. This Uchiha was more than he expected. So this was the power of the sixth eye, and he was sure that he had not seen all of it yet. Madara saw the sky changing, turning more blue. That is when he realized that it was flames. Blue flames raining down from the heavens. Seeing it coming towards him, Madara simply flashed two hand sign of his own. Let's see how these flames keep up with his. He took in a deep breath. This time when he shot fireballs into the sky, they came out small until they expanded, the force shooting them upwards until his fireballs were gone, the blue flames swallowing them. What the? The ground underneath him exploded as Naruto emerged and kicked him straight in the sky. The Uchiha was sent sailing as he felt the flames licking against his skin, but they weren't burning. But he could feel his chakra being burned out of him. They were eating away at his chakra. He cursed as Naruto was above him now and drive a brutal punch in his chest. The armor started to crack. The Uchiha eyes went wide as he was blasted from the heavens. As Naruto twirled, all the blue flame gathering around him and swirling around him as he spun like a tornado as he bombed from the sky. Madara was lying on his back as he saw Naruto's fist coming down towards his face to turn his head into a squash grape. His Rinnegan pulsed and power erupted. The ground exploded underneath him. Using his control over gravity, Madara sent it upwards. As Naruto was knocked away by the force, a huge chunk of the earth being ripped out as the earth was pushing Naruto upwards. However, he plunged his hand into it and flexed his chakra, destroying it. But as he did, the side of a blue blade slammed into him. Naruto felt pain as he was blasted out of the sky. As Madara picked himself back up, his armor had been cracked. His hair was wild and unkempt at the moment. The rest of his body was covered in dirt. Right now his body was surrounded by his Susanoo, the top half to be exact. He looked down as the place was getting cold once again. Madara held out both of his hands as two other hands formed. Gigantic ice spears erupted from the cold earth as they tried to pierce through Susanoo. They slammed and hit at it. As he realized that he was stuck, they cornered him. Madara felt something as he turned to see Naruto holding his hand together and creating something blue and red, turning into purple. As Madara was stuck right in the center, as Naruto released the attack that started to tear through the earth, rushing towards Uchiha. Seeing this, Madara decided to show him what true power is. A violent explosion happened as the entire area shook. Naruto glanced up as his attack was stopped, dissipated, to see a monster above him. "Now you see, boy," he said. "This is the true power of a Uchiha. I must say the sixth eye is truly impressive, but it is still nothing compared to myself, and it will be nothing compared to me," said Madara. "Your eye hold great power, but it was still not enough. You should be honored. I never expected to bring this out during our battle. This power that I contain. Madara took out the blade of the gigantic Susanoo and sliced. Mountains were torn. Earths were ripped. He showed the true power that he possessed. As Naruto saw it, he saw it. Naruto did not look afraid. Standing proud in your final moments. That I can respect. You have my respect, great warrior, he said. But your power was just not enough. Madara was getting so caught up. His respect for this one. His blood pumping. He will find the tailed beasts himself. The other one was still alive, of course, so he knew where they were. Sasuke, yes, that was his name. But this one, he will put him to rest with honor. As Madara brought the blade down, as Naruto started to laugh as he saw the thing coming down towards him, he could see it. He could see it. He could finally see it. His grin spread widely and madly. Madara pushed him. This battle pushed him. It gave him what he needed. It gave him that surge to see it all as Naruto spread his arms. And it happened. The whole world seemed to freeze up for a single moment as there was a tremor that went through it. Power that should not be wielded by any man. The source of all. The power that circulates through the universe itself. The God tree. The tree of life. The tree that birthed all. The tree of fusion. The tree of chakra. The tree of essence. The tree of energy. The tree of all. The tree that could feel. The tree that could experience. The tree that had sentience. The tree that knew the existence of one that could actually reach its location. They had to be a being that forsake their human body and reach to a level of a spiritual being. However, there was a loophole to reach that level. Eyes that were blessed. Eyes that were given to the half Osusuke and half human that had been passed down in history, never to be fully awakened ever again. Because the first wielder saw the true fathom, the true power, the true danger that these eyes held, and knew that no such man should have that power. Otherwise, it would be the end of all. A war would rage. A chaotic war that might end all life as we know it. That is why he forbid the other two users. The power would go to their head. Understanding of all should not be under the grasp of a single man. No one should experience that kind of overwhelming understanding of everything. But at this very moment, history was about to change because once again, the sixth eye was reborn. The last and final totem appeared in Naruto's eye as he muttered the words, "Domain expansion." Madara found his swing stop. His whole movement came to an abrupt stop. Nothing was moving, nothing was even happening anymore. It all just froze. At that moment, the world shifted. He was no longer in the elemental nation. He was not sure where he was, but he was standing on nothingness. As he heard his voice, "The land of void," said Naruto. Madara could not see anything. He could not experience anything. And at the same time he saw everything and experienced everything. His mind was being overwhelmed. He was unable to process it. He saw the beginning. He saw the end. He saw the future. He saw the past. He saw what it meant. He saw everything. And he saw nothing as well. As Naruto stood there, a violent energy was sent out through the entire universe. From Naruto awakening the last totem, the perfection that made him seem no longer human, that made him transcend into a different level. His whole feeling was different, his aura, his body was different. Everything about him had changed in that very moment. Madara collapsed down to his knees as he dropped and rolled over. The Uchiha was unresponsive. His eyes were white. They were full with all understanding and nothingness. His Rinnegan not even been shown to the world. He was just in the void. His domain expansion being so powerful that one could not simply recover from it in a few minutes. Well, Madara was too weak to recover quickly. The opponent had to be stronger. As Naruto walked over towards the Uchiha, Madara was just frozen in that state, his mind, unable to process anything, unable to even move his own legs, unable to think, and yet at the same time think everything. It was a feeling that was just so unreal. As Naruto held his hand out, his chakra twisting and turning as it formed into a blade. He gripped the handle of said blade. The blade was blue, the handle was black, as he had bent reality out of his chakra alone. He placed it down, right on the man's chest. "I told you I would win," said Naruto, as he plunged the blade in Madara's chest. His body jerked for a single moment before it ceased, his heart being destroyed, the blade melting down and destroying his heart. As Naruto looked towards him before his body was sucked away into a different dimension, as he calmly walked before he vanished, feeling different, feeling reborn. He could see it. He could see it all. He could now understand it. Now he understood why Ichigo feared this power. However, Ichigo was a fool. He shouldn't have feared this power. He should have embraced it. He should have understand it. Understand why he was born so special. Understand why he was gifted to be up there amongst the divine beings. To be able to see what others could not. He was too weak to understand that his mindset was one of peace. But his peace was not what Naruto seek, because that peace would never last. But his will. Yes, his will. Naruto thought as he calmly walked. After just murdering who was said to be one of the most dangerous men in the entire elemental nation. And yet it seems like it was nothing to him. Not even Madara seemed to be enough to stop this man that has just been reborn into the world as a baby. Seeing what life, seeing what the universe, seeing what chakra, seeing what energy truly meant. Meanwhile, Obito Uchiha was running for his life, as he had to get out of there. He was not strong enough, especially in this state, to defeat Sasuke Uchiha. It was a shame. He was not strong enough. He would lose. And not to mention he could not use a Kamui because those damn people were awake in his dimension. And whenever he entered, they tried to kill him. So he had to run. Causing a distraction was what he needed. He had to regroup. Something happened. He could no longer sense Madara. Could that mean? A moment ago he felt the entire world shook. He was certain of it. It wasn't just this place alone. He felt a fluctuation that was unlike any other. It was like something was born. Something that this world has never seen before. And Madara chakra was gone. Even before it was gone, it felt like Madara chakra was unstable. It felt like its entire essence had been unraveled and being slowly put back together, but it will take a while. But before it could do, it vanished. Like someone had snuffed him out. Right now Obito was running, his Akatsuki cloak torn. He was still bleeding. He only had one arm, as he was trying to get away, using explosive to cause a lot of destruction to try and get away from Sasuke. However, where are you going? He blinked in shock as he looked forward. What? How? How did I find you? It's quite simple. Nothing can hide from me anymore, said Naruto, as he looked towards Obito. Your eyes. Yes. Thanks to Madara, they have evolved. I can now see it all. And now, it's time for you to die, said Naruto. Obito snarled at that, as he couldn't believe that he was in this position. He could warp to a different location in the Kamui, but the moment they saw him, they would attack him, but he would need it for this fight. Despite facing Sharingan a moment ago, he didn't know why, but he feared these eyes even more. And he should. Obito released weapons that were stored away. Giant shurikens that were sent sailing towards Naruto. However, Naruto did not move as all the weapons stopped in mid-air. It was like they could not touch him. As Naruto simply looked at them, a small smile on his face. What's going on? Obito said. How did you stop them? You didn't even move. Stop them? No. They're still moving. They're just going extremely slow, said Naruto, as he reached out and tapped the weapon. Upon doing that, the speed sped up to incredible degrees. Obito had to leap out of the way as they were sent back towards him. As he landed, he bumped into something as he spun to see Naruto standing there. Obito swinged his fist forward as he hit something, but what the hell? He swung his fist again, but it was not touching Naruto at all. Naruto's right hand shot forward as Obito was gonna have it phase through him and have his body phase to a different location really quickly. This time Mito and the others were ready, but before they could reach Obito though, a hand ripped through and grabbed Obito's chest and pulled him back in the real world. Obito Uchiha was scared shitless. How? What did you... That's not possible, he said. Your dimension means nothing to me now. I told you before, I can see it. I can see it all, said Naruto. Obito was in shock. Somehow Naruto was able to rip into his Kamui and grab him and yank him back out. How was something like that even possible? What the hell were even these eyes? He saw Sasuke behind him as he quickly tried to get free, but he could not use his ability. What are you doing to me? Don't move, said Naruto. Obito tried to attack, but his fist was not getting through, and he could not punch Naruto to release him. Nothing was working as Sasuke arrived and drive his blade through Obito's back. The blade was inches away from Naruto's face. Sasuke had stopped it just in time. Obito coughed up blood as Naruto held him in place. Sasuke saw Naruto's eyes. He was surprised by it. It seems like he finally awakened that form. His whole aura felt different. Obito spat up blood. However, the blood simply did not touch Naruto. As he stood there, unaffected by it all, he finally released Obito as he collapsed down to his knees. You might want to stand back, said Naruto. Sasuke realized he was talking to him as he stepped back. Naruto held his hand out as there was a flash of blue and a flash of red. The whole ground and Obito was twisting and turning. Obito screamed as his body was distorted and twisted and snapped before it was broken apart and vanished. What did you do? Sasuke said. I erased him, said Naruto. So your eye. Yeah. I finally got it, said Naruto. You seem different, said Naruto. I feel different. You wouldn't understand, this feeling is something else. Wait, you killed him. What about... Do not worry, Sasuke. I can see it all, said Naruto. As he reached his hand up, Sasuke watched as Naruto seemed to tear the very fabric of space and time. It opened up into a portal. Come, let's go. It's time to finish what we started. They're coming. They know where I am now, he said, as he stepped inside, followed by Sasuke. But guys, be and subscribe right here for once things important to do. Like, subscribe, comment down below, and turn on that bell notifications they posted. But I'm off for now, see you guys soon. Peace.